Final few cars rolling onto the grid. From Nick Yellerly in first to Stephen Grove in 31st. You can just see Mark Radcliffe with the red, white and blue on his car rolling into the penultimate spots on the grid. And there is our final starter, the white Martinet by Almeris machine. Green flag waves. 5 red lights will come on, and when they go off, we will be underway for round 5 of the Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup Challenge. Good start from both front row men, and immediately tucking in behind the leader, Mikkel Pedersen, defending himself against Mattia Trudi, and then Thomas Preining and Mikel Ammermuller. Ammermuller struggling with Dylan Pereira in the Momo Megatron car, but he's got in front. In fact, Pereira didn't have a good run through the first corner, and he might drop down to 7th. He does, behind Igor Valico, as they run down to the hairpin for the first time. Everybody trying to sort themselves out. Tom Gaymore, nice clean start, and particularly Nick Yellerly got away, and he's got Pedersen trying to hold off Mattia Trudi. That might be great news for the Englishman out front.
Yeah, this is important for Trudi. He'll want to try and find the way past Pedersen. Pedersen's got to hold his position, and Ammermuller, it looks as though, or that's Preining, I think, in the lead pink machine that you see further back. Yeah. That is the BWT car. Ammermuller further behind. There's a spinner, and Trudi has worked hard to try and find a way past Pedersen. Pedersen's been defensive, and Trudi there with a big lock-up. And you can see the green and black dynamic motorsport machine now holding on to Thomas Preining, and this is suiting Nick Yellerly down to a T.
Let's have a look here at the hairpin. 3 into 1 won't go, but in fact the problem was further behind. So the spinner Josh Webster rejoins at the back of the field.
Well, he had a really tough qualifying session. The Brit's better than that. 27th on the grid in a drying session. Didn't work out for Josh, and the beginning of the race has certainly not worked out.
Not for Dylan Pereira either. The Momo Megatron car for 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th place from 6 on the grid, so he got shuffled back an entire row. It's Nick Yellerly who leads. In 2nd place is Mikkel Pedersen. 3rd is Mattia Trudi in the green car. Then the 2 pink cars, Thomas Preining and Mikel Ammermuller. And Battle Airs Royal Lindland tries to hold on, but loses a spot. So Igor Valico got ahead of Dylan Pereira, but he got in front, back in front of Julian Andlau, the Porsche Junior driver, before the line. So he's grabbed 1 place back. Yeah, there is the white and green car of Andlau behind Dylan Pereira. Pereira 3rd in points. No score at Silverstone. Can't afford another one of those here, but Andlau back down the inside. Can't find the overlap. Whoa, way down the outside. The blue car of Gustav Mallia comprehensively outbraked himself, Tom.
Almost spun Ammermuller as well, Pereira, and that's a case of getting sucked into the braking zone. You're racing each other, and essentially every car takes the other car that bit deeper, and before you know it, you have 3 or 4 cars that are just too deep, and Ammermuller almost the innocent victim there.
Yeah, it was Larry Tenforder, in fact, who ran out very wide indeed with Zaid Ashkenani. Too much wheel spin as he ran over the curbs. And you can see Igor Valico there. We saw him on the straight being passed by Julian Andlauer. So Andlauer now up into 7th place, 6th place ahead of Dylan Pereira. Ahead of, no, 7th place ahead of Valico. And Zaid Ashkenani, with that loss of momentum, also being passed. So past him has gone Jaap van Lagen, who's made good inroads. He was being dive-bombed by Larry Tenforder.
Pedersen going defensive on the inside. The green and black car of Trudi trying to get the switch back.
Yeah, Pedersen went in too late, too deep. Here comes Luca Trudi, and he's got the advantage, and through he goes, and that releases him now. And he won't worry too much about Mikkelsen right behind her, Pedersen right behind him now. He'll be concentrating on trying to catch the race leader. You can see there as they ran over the curb, still a little splash of water spraying up. So not entirely bone dry on the outfield, even though it looks a bit like the Sahara.
Yeah, so Trudi now on the inside. He has to make sure that he holds position. Pedersen to the outside, almost gets dive-bombed by Thomas Praining, the Porsche Junior, in the lead VWT car.
And behind him, the red and yellow car, Pereira, tried to go around both pink cars. He's on the outside of Ammermuller. That won't work for him. He needs to watch out from right behind the white and green car. Julian Andlauer is going to come up the inside. You can see looking back, there's Andlauer, and he's got by, has he? No, he hasn't, because the long way around the outside, tell you what, Dylan Pereira is making a really good stab of this. 3 wide, Andlauer on the inside. That's got to work for the Frenchman, surely.
3 wide into the stadium doesn't work, but they all managed to get through. Somehow Dylan Pereira didn't hang on to that. Ammermuller had done the hard work earlier on, but couldn't make it stick down into turn 8, ran wide. That allowed Dylan Pereira to come back into the mix, and somehow they survived the entry to the stadium section. I would have loved to have seen a bit more of that.
Yeah, Eagle Valico, then Jaap van Lagen, then the blue and yellow car of Lariton Forder. So that is that group. That is 6th to 10th, and is absolutely all, in fact, 5th to 10th. It's all arms and elbows.
So here is Ammermuller on the outside, the second of the pink cars, just outbrakes himself. He's done most of the hard work, you know, and that allowed Dylan Pereira to get around the outside into turn 10.
Yeah, nearly gave that away entirely, didn't he? The championship points leader, Nick Yellerly, out front with the fastest race lap, a 42.061, and the fastest race lap is a 43.310. So that is a new track, new track record.
Ten Fjord trying to go around the outside of Jaap van Lagen at the back of this group. He's in the blue car. Van Lagen's going to force him wide on the exit. They both run wide. Well, that was textbook stuff from Larry Ten Fjord. I think Jaap van Lagen was a little bit optimistic running Ten Fjord off on the exit himself. Slowing himself down, I should say. But Ten Fjord is somebody that is worth watching. He really is exciting. He's very, very raw, but very, very quick. He won the rookie championship in the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland series last year. And speaking to Nick Yellerly, he's certainly one to watch.
Battle of the Dutchmen, Jaap van Lagen ahead of Ten Forder. This is for 3rd place, though. This is Mikkel Pedersen ahead of Thomas Preining with the first of the 2 pink VWT cars. There's the other one, Mikael Ammermuller, going over our camera. Great curb cam there, shows you the variety in lines. Some are straddling it, legal. Some aren't even close to it, way out there, past track limits.
As the Americans call it, the gopher cam.
Yeah. Digger, the gopher cam, whatever. 42.001 for Nick Yellerly. We're going to get the first Porsche lap in the 41s. Chances are that'll be next time round. He's pulling away.
It's a new lap record anyway.
Yeah, another new lap record.
So for Nick Yellerly, this is exactly how he would have pictured it in his mind last night. When he went to bed, he would have slept with what could have happened in his thoughts, and it's somewhat challenging when you're on pole. You've got it all to lose, and talking about that, Pedersen now under pressure from Preining, and Pedersen, you know, he'll want to be able to hold on to a rostrum position to really cement what was a cracking effort in qualifying.
Well, when you give yourself the shot like that, the chance to do that, then you've really got to cling on. Mattia Trudy got by. Pedersen knew he'd made a mistake, didn't try and fight it to the nth degree. What he did was mitigate against the damage by tucking in behind Trudy and losing as little time as possible. But he is losing time, and here's how much. Nick Yellerly's last lap, 42.00. Pedersen's 42.77. So everybody behind Pedersen is being limited on pace by Pedersen. Van Lagen and Ten Forder again. Ten Forder again, not really able to keep the pace up with Van Lagen and stay on the grey stuff at the same time.
Anybody using the 100-metre marker as a braking spot is going to have a nasty surprise next time around.
Aren't they, though? Even Mattia Trudy in the green car, last time round 42.17. This time round 42.40 for Nick Yellerly, 42.34 for Mattia Trudy. So he's just starting to creep a little closer to the race leader.
I think Felico's got damage as well. A few cars been in the wars in the top 10, and it's certainly been fairly robust, fighting for position further back, hasn't it? And this is what we saw at Silverstone, some really cracking battles all the way through the field. And now we're on board with the championship leader. Ahead of him, Thomas Preining trying to plot a way past Mikael Pedersen. Pedersen will go defensive, and Praining not getting sucked into going around the outside. He'll try the switch back here. Pedersen wise to that, didn't make a mistake, didn't run wide, didn't get the car under rotating, and now he sets about trying to work out where he's going to get past Pedersen. If Pedersen's not going to make a mistake, then for Praining it's a challenge, because Ammermuller will pounce if he does compromise himself. Look at that.
Clumsily done. A little bit of outbreaking of himself.
I tell you what, that was Cirky, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or Cherky.
Yeah, that's a long way back as well. So unfortunately, I think he was trying to go by high stand for 21st. I think he may just end himself up with a little bit of a penalty there. Julian Landlau on the back of this queue. So he is currently in 7th place. Little break between him and Igor Valilko, Jaap van Lagen and Larry ten Voorde. Yeah, the stewards will investigate that. I'm sure there'll be a penalty to serve. Cherky will probably end up getting himself a drive through before the end of the race. It was fairly cut and dried, got in late on the brakes, lost the rear end, clattered his rival. Dylan Pereira in the red and yellow Momo Megatron car, under pressure from Julian Andlau. Andlau's had a couple of looks, a lock up there from Mikael Pedersen in 3rd place, and that is his podium gone, or is it? No, just keeps in front of Thomas Praining, but he has to keep his head, cannot afford mistakes.
This favours Ammermuller. Ammermuller's got the run here. Praining is around the outside, but watch Ammermuller. Look, they're going to swamp him.
Yeah, Ammermuller's going to take the place. Praining's going to be on the wrong line on the outside. Mikael Ammermuller picks up 2. Praining gets none. Ammermuller and Praining both run out wide. And here comes Pedersen. Is he going to retake 3rd? Now he's on the outside. Now he's on the inside, and he retakes 3rd from Ammermuller, who goes out very wide indeed and just sticks there. Fantastic stuff.
Well, Ammermuller there, I said it would favour him, and it did. He got the run, and you could see how that played out into the braking spot, but he almost threw it away again, and really had to get his knees and elbows out to hang on to that position. And Pedersen must have thought all his Christmases had come at once when the 2 BWT cars ran wide.
Yeah, but watch Ammermuller. How does he take this place? Now, Praining on the outside, Ammermuller on the outside, and exceeds track limits and gains a position as a result. Will he be allowed to keep it? Are they particularly fussed about there or not? In fairness, the only reason he was able to get by Pedersen is by keeping his momentum up and running out wide.
Well, it is the bugbear that is track limits, isn't it? Yeah. He can get on the throttle when he shouldn't really be allowed to get on the throttle, because he's going to unravel the steering and use all the drive on the exit of the corner. Now, for me, you've hit the nail on the head. You're absolutely correct in what you say, Martin. Will the stewards agree? I doubt it. In
Formula One, he would definitely have to give the position back. Here, maybe not so much. You've got to allow people to race a little bit, particularly when they're in identical cars. As it is, Mikael Ammermuller up to 3rd. Nick Yellerly leads from Mattia Judy, and the championship leader is now up into a podium position.
Now, poor old Thomas Praining, he'd done all the hard work to pressure Mikael Pedersen into a mistake. He's pressured Mikael Pedersen into another mistake, and in all of that effort, he's seen his teammate get the run.
Clear off.
And clear off. And when you're the car that is, you know, doing the work, essentially, it's so frustrating, because you haven't benefited at all for all your hard work, and your teammate has.
Yeah, but Praining, who didn't even race in Barcelona, is now a domestique, essentially, isn't he, for Ammermuller? That's not how he was working it then. He was trying to get by, and Ammermuller managed to luck in. He was just in the right position at the right time. And that's going to happen to Praining again if he's not very careful. He'll do the hard work getting Pedersen offline, and it'll be Dylan Pereira from behind him who comes through. Zaid Ashkanani going through on the inside of Gustav Mahler. And just in front, you can see Larry ten Voorde, who's been dropped by Jaap van Lagen. So that was a change for 11th place.
Yeah, 2 GP3 converts there getting into each other. I'm not sure Mahler gave Ashkanani a huge amount of room. He could have just opened the steering somewhat to save his lurid slide as Ashkanani got into the side. I mean, one of, I think it's about 5 GP3 converts in this championship.
Ashkanani Mahler incident under investigation. So
I'm
we'll
not
wait and
sure
see what
too
happens
much
there.
should come of that.
Yeah. No investigation of the pass for a podium spot, though. By the way, the Silverstone winner, Florian Latour, still in 13th place, so not finding the pace here at all that he found at Silverstone. And again, Mikkel Pedersen under pressure from the second pink car of Thomas Preining, car number 2. He goes the long way around the outside. He's going to get eased out wide by the Dane. Watch for Dylan Pereira. There's Pereira in the red and yellow car. Preining doesn't help himself by trying to find traction on the dusty grass.
Well, this time Preining kept his foot in, and that was to protect his place in terms of Dylan Pereira getting up the inside. What it actually did was give him a run on Pedersen. He found himself on the grass. Pereira's the meat in a Porsche Junior sandwich here, because Thomas Preining and Julien Andlauer are the Porsche Juniors, of course, for this season. They get the scholarship money. Dylan Pereira, well, in the middle of those, in the red and yellow Momo Megatron machine.
Just running down the straight there into the little 789 chicane. You saw the flights flashing on Thomas Preining's car. Yeah, right, OK. I'm sure that's going to make Pedersen pull over. Yellowly leading still from Mattia Judy, and Nick Yellowly keeping the pace up, staying in front of Judy.
Well, Yellowly knows this track well. He was second in the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland Championship last year to Sven Müller. And anybody that knows their motorsport will know just how competitive the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland Championship is. We saw Thomas Preining come second in the rookie classification in that championship last year. He came second, actually, to Laddie Ten Vjorda, who didn't make it into Porsche colours for this year. So that's an interesting one. But Ten Vjorda is certainly one to watch, as is Preining and Andlauer, as is this battle, because Mikkel Pedersen, well, he's made his car very, very wide.
Outbrakes himself. Now, can he keep the momentum up, or will Thomas Preining come up on the inside now again? Ocheki getting a 3-second time penalty for that little clumsy fumble. He's now got by Roar Lindland and stayed in front of him for 20th, but no change for 4th. Mikkel Pedersen still ahead of Thomas Preining, Dylan Pereira, Julien Andlauer, and they're gradually being caught by Igo Valilko and Jaap van Lagen. So this is the battle from 4th to 9th, Van Lagen.
I think this will be Pedersen's best ever finish. It'll certainly be his best finish this year. Previous best finish 7th, I think I'm right in saying. Let's try and...
that was in Monaco. Fifth in Monaco. Yeah. Well, he's one ahead of that.
But he's got work to do. 3 laps to go, and it's going to be hard work. It's been hard work so far. But he's certainly earned his stripes. And keeping Thomas Preining behind, you know, mean feet. Dylan Pereira has, well, not looked too aggressive behind Preining in 6th place, but Julien Andlauer not managing to put the driver from Luxembourg under too much pressure.
Now, this won't change the championship lead as they are at the moment. Nick Yellowly will only gain 4 points on Mikel Ammermuller, and he came in here 9 behind. Thomas Preining again looking at Mikkel Pedersen down at the turn 6 hairpin. This short straight up to the fast run in through corner 7 up to turn 8. Another of the sort of little corner combinations they've added to the Hockenheim ring once they sliced the forests out of the action. He says plenty of braking areas, but not too many where you can really make a big move. And still the stadium complex, as they come here through the Mobile 1 curve up to the Sachs curve, these are the places where traditionally overtaking happened at Hockenheim, and it still seems to be very much the case.
It's a really difficult section, very easy to overheat your rear tyres here. And those cars that aren't well balanced, certainly if you're pushing for a quick lap in qualifying, it was difficult to turn the front tyres on. You struggle a lot for understeer in the stadium section. You spend a lot of time in the slower corners, so if the balance of the car's not right, You struggle. Pedersen running wide, keeping his foot in. He may have lost out now to Praining. Praining needs to get the car stopped, make sure he can rotate it into the apex and get the drive out. Pereira thought he would have a sniff there as well, but Pedersen has lost the place but's not given up. He'll have a good run down to the hairpin, but I think Praining's done enough.
Yeah, he ran too deep into turn one, ran out wide, lost the traction, and that was all it took. So Thomas Praining up to 4th place.
Here comes Pereira.
Yeah, I did worry that Dylan Pereira would rotate inside him and actually tag the back of Pedersen before. Now he gets inside him at a turn 6 hairpin, and he's still inside him as they rush up to turn 7. And he will take 5th position away from Mikkel Pedersen, who now has to deal with the green and white car, Julian Andlauer.
Just a bit of inexperience there from Pedersen. He was frustrated. He'd lost out to Praining, and as soon as you put the car on the outside, you're vulnerable, and it was all off the back of this small mistake. Too much entry curve, and that was what unseated the car. He ran wide, had to get out of the throttle, but watch here, he was frustrated. He tried to oh, this was the corner where he got past, sorry. But down to the hairpin here, the frustration comes in. And he's not doing anything here. He's just playing into the hands of Thomas Praining. That gives Dylan Pereira an opportunity, and you could just see how much Pereira wanted that, driving the car off the corner.
Well, Pereira was on the inside, and unfortunately for Mikkel Pedersen, there was just no way of getting back in behind Praining. Once he committed himself to the outside line, then he was always going to lose that place to Dylan Pereira, who now moves up to 5th. Mikkel Pedersen in 6th, ahead of Julian Andlauer. Then Igor Valilko, Jaap van Lagen, and they've been joined by Larry ten Fjorda and Zaid Ashkenani. So the queue is getting longer.
No surprise not to see ten Fjorda getting past Van Lagen, yet you've got to get up pretty early in the morning to outsmart Van Lagen. His first race in this championship, 2007. We were talking off air, weren't we, that actually he has competed in at least one race every single year. Here comes ten Fjorda, Valilko, the cork in the bottleneck, and Van Lagen's wide.
Giving it away, but manages to keep up the momentum and gets back on in front of ten Fjorda. So he was trying to go by Igor Valilko, didn't really work for Jaap van Lagen. Yeah, since 2007, he's been in and out of the championship, apart from just 2 seasons. He didn't have a Porsche Supercup race, but he's not had the whole time, and not like Patrick Heisman, who did every Porsche Supercup race for a decade or what have you. So he's been in and out a lot.
Only one full season, 2008.
But he does know how to pedal a Porsche, and he is now all over the back of Igor Valilko with that first lap damage on Valilko's right front. That can't be helping the cooling, because they'll be stalling the air going through those cooling radiators on the right-hand side. Now, that's not all of his cooling, but it is a certain degree. Final lap of the race, Nick Yellerly leads. And the pace has dropped now down to a 42.9 last time for Nick Yellerly, but he's still the fastest man. Mattia Judy, 43.1. Michael Ammermuller in 3rd, 43.1. And Valilko at the front of this group looks like he's going to hang on to 8th.
Well, Yellerly, the only man in the 42s yet again, and it's showed this race, hasn't it? His dominance. I spoke to him yesterday. He said, listen, I'm really confident in the dry as well. Warm-up didn't look great, but he stood by. He said to me, he said, I'm really confident with my pace in the dry, and you know, he's stuck true to his word. Not always the case, you know.
Only 11th fastest in practice, but clearly they got themselves sorted out. Late dive to the inside by Jaap van Lagen as Valilko tries to go all at 6s and 7s, and through from the back. Here comes Zaid Ashkenani. We're on board with him. Jaap van Lagen comes back on in front of Valilko, so that's the car that's in 8th. Zaid Ashkenani has gone from 11th to 9th, and then Valilko behind with the damage, left to deal with Larry ten Fjorda, which he cannot. And
watch
here's
this.
where, watch Van Lagen.
Yeah, Van Lagen locks up. It's win it or bin it, but it's the kiss now on Valilko's car that puts ten Fjorda really wide, and they're all over the grass.
Yeah. Lawnmower racing. Nick Yellerly into the final couple of corners here at the Hockenheim ring, looking for his 2nd win of the season. We've had 4 races, 4 different winners. Our first 2-time winner is Great Britain's Nick Yellerly. Mattia Judy, 2nd career podium, second straight podium, and Mikael Ammermuller, the points leader, finishes in third ahead of teammate Thomas Preining. Dylan Pereira in fifth, Mikkel Pedersen from second to sixth position ahead of Julian Andlauer, and that last lap incident between Thorder and
Van
Lagen will be looked at by the stewards.
Yeah, that is Nick Yellerly's second career win as well. So this is his first full campaign.
Ooh.
Birthday boy running wide. Birthday boy yesterday, of course.
Yeah.
Together with Thomas Preining as well.
So second win of the year for Nick Yellerly. First winning in Monaco, second winning in Porsche's home race at Hockenheim Ring. It's as close as you get to Stuttgart, basically.
He'll be really pleased with that. It's been a brace of fourth or fifths, I should say, and
yeah.
You know, his exact term was yesterday, well, I'm getting bored of that, so
yeah. Bored of fifth.
Yeah,
need to win another one.
Yeah, exactly. So he said it'd be nice to actually win it tomorrow, and he's done just that, and in dominant fashion. You know, he really has driven well, Nick Yellerly, and he deserves this.
Well, after qualifying with Mikkel Pedersen behind him, or alongside him, he must have thought, right, if he gets in behind me, I've got a golden opportunity, because Pedersen's pace is not quite what the other 4 or 5 championship front runners is. And so once you got that stopper in the bottle, Mattia Drudi escaped, but only after 2 or 3 laps, and by that time Yellerly was up the road and gone, and Drudi then was really going to struggle to catch him. So it worked well for Nick Yellerly from pole to victory. And whatever he was thinking of yesterday evening after qualifying, I'm sure this exactly matched his hopes and expectations. For FAC Autotech, it's the second win of the season with Nick Yellerly. And so that brings race 5 to a close. Mikael Ammermuller won in Barcelona, Nick Yellerly in Monaco. Thomas Preining won at the Red Bull Ring, and Latour won at Silverstone. Now Yellerly claims his second win from Drudi and Ammermuller, with Preining, Pereira and Pedersen rounding out the top 6, and no sign in the top 10 of Latour. The Silverstone winner, Florian Latour, down in a disappointing 13th place here at Hockenheim.
I think importantly for Nick Yellerly, the gap now down at the top to 5 points. It was 9 at the start of this weekend, but my mental maths has never been something to bet your last dollar on. So let's just wait for the championship graphic. But you know, it's closing, and the momentum back with Nick Yellerly this weekend. And you know, for the likes of Dylan Pereira, you know, in third place, Florian Latour in fourth. They didn't have the best of weekends. So you know, Larry Tenfjord in fifth. So it's starting to move into a 2-horse race for the championship title, and that'll suit Nick, and he'll be able to get his teeth into Mikael Ammermuller, not literally obviously, but certainly I really feel like there's a really exciting championship battle brewing here.
Nice bit of parking to stop the winner getting out of his car. Mattia Drudi should have pulled in slightly behind.
That's absolutely brilliant.
Well, with the helmet, the roll cage and the hands device, actually I'm slightly surprised he could get out at all, and the window nets as well. But there he is, Great Britain's Nick Yellerly, victorious for the second time this season, and the second win for FAC Autotech.